Alright, what's the crack? It's prolific. I'm just gonna be watching through this game from Aquaneer here. Um to give him some pointers and tips on how I can improve and stuff. And yourself if I actually make this public, I guess. So yeah. Let's go right ahead. So immediately with this opener, I think the decision to what we're dealing with first off is we know we have a green piece and a yellow piece, then a blue piece and a red breaker. So basically not a lot that's sort of combining here. But we know we have a red breaker. That's the start of a trigger. So what I'd be looking to do is keep my center clear for now. And then now that we have blue piece, I'd probably put that over to the side. Now that we have the blue piece and the red breaker coming, we can see that we're having the start of the formation of a blue block. And we also have another breaker which we can use to combo. So in an ideal scenario, what I would have done here is I would have placed this over to the side and pen. Yeah, I would have moved this one over to the side. And ideally, I would have had the green facing the other direction. So pretend this black pen's green and then yellow block. So if we did that, that's great. If not, we're a little bit more stuck, but you know, at least we have our center clear, so we can start committing to building this blue block, right? With the breaker stack on top. So yeah, in my scenario, I'd be looking to have something like this at the minute. And then we'd have the yellow breaker on top of here. So you can see we have the yellow block, the red trigger, and then the red breaker to break the yellow block. And then we're going to start forming our blue block and hopefully be able to make a 2x6 or something greater out of it. Something like tripling 2x2 block is perfectly great in a scenario where you open before your opponent. Especially in high level play, that's sort of the way the game's gone at the minute. Where sort of the ideal scenario for people is just to get an opener that will do decent amount of damage against their opponent to mess them up from their own opener. And with Falchion, a 2x6 will suffice a lot of the time. So let's just keep playing here. From the board state we have, that was the perfect move. It's also perfect because we want to, in this scenario, we want to keep building onto this blue block, right? Yep, that's fine. Now, I'm liking the next two pieces coming up, right? And here's why. So we have two red pieces. Then we can see next we have a red piece and a green breaker. And we also have a red breaker down below. So immediately how you can incorporate that is if you put the red piece right here and put the double right here where he's going to be putting them, and then put the green breaker on top right here. And then if you get one more red piece, you can put it there, break the yellow, and you have a 2x8, which would probably beat out whatever build it's building at the minute. So let's see what he does. Not ideal. The potential for 2x8 still open with two red pieces right here. Maybe you can see it a bit better now. So I guess he didn't see that initial break. He's gonna he's putting that red breaker there to try and get maybe an extra red block on the left side, which is good. If you The issue with that a lot of people have is like sort of tunnel visioning on their opener, like they just always go for the one thing each time, and once they start building something, they just commit to it, and uh, they don't bother trying to look for anything else. So at least the initiative to see that, all right, I can make something out of these reds down here is present, you know. But it's looking like the best situation at the minute is just to make blue block and then double it, I suppose, judging from what we have coming up next and the fact that we wasted a few breakers in this opener. Again, like the way the game's gone at the minute is, you know, if you're just getting something off before your opponent, generally you're gonna be starting on the front foot. Putting that green in the middle was a mistake. I would have just stored it down here, the rest of these greens. And yeah, that's perfectly fine. Yep, it's good placement. So now Baylit's finally sent a sprinkle. We can see that he sends green on the right side, and immediately every like first game I play against someone, I'm always just focusing. I keep like a mental note in my head. All right, I gotta figure out their pattern, because that heavily influences every single move that I make, and you should be making also. Because if you just keep things stacked together and in the right place, right? Like pretend that he sends green, yellow, blue, for example. You're going to want to be keeping most of the greens over to the left, most of the yellows in the middle, most of the blues to the right. That helps you for better board control and survivability. It helps you build bigger blocks, which sends bigger attacks. There's just so many benefits. It's fine. So he's getting a green breaker next. There's a sprinkle coming in from Baylor, and we have a blue block and a green breaker. So we know he's sending green at the left side. What I think I'd want to do here is put the blue right here and the green face down. From there, we could manually build up to the blue, break that, combo the yellow, and then we have a green breaker. Everything will fall down, and that's gonna make a dual sword most of the time right there. So just like this, that, and then here's your green breaker, right? We build up, break this blue, yellow's gonna fall down, and then the greens that Baylor is sending us is going to build up an attack for us as well. Gonna keep our left side nice and clean. So let's continue. It's a bad mistake there. It looks pretty small, but these kind of things is what helps people like myself, you know, Demon Toad, Agbank, like those kind of guys who are like playing like 500k games and stuff, survive a lot longer than most people. See right here, you're just breaking the screen, which it belongs here, you know. Like it's meant to be there. It's not like obstructing your board in any way. Plus, it's wasting a breaker also. So yeah, I would have wanted to store that in this scenario. Plus, you put the blue block right here, which feel it doesn't send over here, so that's just sort of blocking you off. Again, like there's no combo potential for it. It just actively made your board a lot worse. Yep. It's fine. There wasn't really a good position for that green breaker, so I think breaking the center where the greens didn't belong was a decent move. That's fine. Yep. You're clearing your left side. Now you can start to stack greens up there, right? Let me see. It's a fine move, I guess, if you can get another green piece here and then put a red piece on top of that. Like, I don't have a green color pen, so just pretend this is green. So I have green here, and then if you put a red on here, so Billet's sending green to the left, yellow in the middle, blue in the right. Okay. But his off color, you know, if he sends 2 rows of sprinkles, it's going to be red, which is going to be in columns 4 and 5. So if you have this link here, whenever you break a green, you can look to clear some reds, but probably the easier option probably would have just been to use that red to clear your center. So, fine. Fine. It's just a complete waste of a green breaker. Should be putting the green on top of here, and then putting the green piece in here, and then you could put that red piece up next, just above the green. And even if you manage to sneak a blue piece right in the middle, blue, we'll pretend this is, and this is the green breaker. This is the green piece. Next turn we have a yellow and a red. So put the red here and then put the yellow in the middle. Like right there. You know, whenever Billet keeps stacking up green pieces over at this side, and you can build up to it as well, that green's gonna break. It's gonna drop into the red, and then drop into the blue. And if you put an extra blue pieces here, you know, like that's a 2x9 right there with a good few sprinkles attached. Even if you put an extra red piece here, that's going to be dropping down into a dual sword attack, and you're keeping your board clean. You're defending well against Billet. That's basically where you're going wrong here. Your speed's pretty good, but just the fundamentals of where you're placing pieces, it's just pretty wrong so far. That's fine. Fine also. I'd want to be clearing these reds with this incoming piece. Don't do that. Yeah, there's no benefit to that move. You're blocking your center. You're putting a red here where it doesn't belong. The best move here would have been to clear this red piece with the red breaker and then drop the red down here. Or even if you wanted to play a bit more of a aggressive game, you know, if you spotted it, you could have cleared that red up here. I would have still kept your center free and still kept clutter out of columns 5 and 6 over here. You just cleared this piece. Next up, you've got a green piece and a red piece. So you could have stacked that green right here, and then your red on top. And then, you know, even if you break that, it's gonna clear up your board in the future. It could add an extra sprinkle, or if you put another red piece on top, then you've got a sword. So yeah, just wrong placement there again. Looks like you're starting to do that here, which is great. But the difference between how you did it and how I would have done it is I would have kept my center clear and I would have kept column 5 clear as well. And this is a bad mistake because now your access to the greens are cut off, and that means that the combo potential from this red is gone. And if you would have just cleared your center with that last red breaker, that would have kept your center clear. Whereas you put that in the middle, put the yellow piece in the middle, and then the blue into column 5. It would look like this. In yellow. And this wouldn't have been here either. So you would have had combo potential on the left side. It would have been fully open. Your center would have been fully open. And your right side would have been fully open. You can start building up swords. Or building up blocks to send swords to bailout. He's at the top of his board. You know, theoretically you're thinking, alright, this guy's probably going to be clearing soon. You know, anything you sort of send here, have to sort of be like a 1x4 or something for it to really do any damage and have kill potential. You have to imagine that his board's probably in a pretty good state at the minute, and that he's going to clear at some point. So unless you're pressuring heavily with like small attacks over and over again, which you don't have the potential for at the minute, you're just going to want to keep your board clean, really. Again, the board's just pretty messed up at this point. Now your blue's cut off. I understand at this point you probably maybe weren't paying attention to what Billet's sending. But that's just a pointer, really, is that you should be paying attention to what he's sending, because that would have greatly impacted how your board looks right now. You probably have a small green block over at this side, which is open. You have a small yellow block in the middle, which is open, and a small blue block at the right side, which is also open. If you manage to send any of those, you know, maybe that lands in column 3 for Billet, and that just kills him straight up. Yeah, it's alright breaking that there. I don't mind storing the red or the yellow breaker in the middle, dropping it in column 3, and then dropping that piece down below. But this is fine also. This placement is horrible. This yellow and this red. Let me just show you quickly. So me, without even like continuing in the video, like I know that Billet sends blue, yellow, and green right here. So you have 2 options with this yellow piece and this red breaker, right? For me, I know that the off color in the middle is going to be red, and that the middle is going to be yellow. So you could place this straight down and free up your center. These 2 blocks will connect, so you have a full intact center. Or you can drop the yellow piece into the middle and leave the red up here, so then it's going to break this piece and you can start building up blue blocks, or blue block on the right side. This positioning here has just cut off your right side. The red's basically inaccessible. It's just getting in your way. So it was the yellow piece. You didn't connect your center. You didn't leave the blue block in the right open. Like, again, like all of these things are like really, really nitpicky, right? Super nitpicky. And I probably sound like a complete nerd just rambling on about this shit, but in terms of high level SF, this stuff is like what's making these guys sort of seem unbeatable for the most part over a long run of games, you know. It's these little errors that maybe you don't see at the time or whatever, that really impacts survivable you are, how much hits you can send, everything, you know. With this piece, if you would have broken this red, or at least not left this here, you could put it at the right side to start building up a blue block, but now that's completely inaccessible, and now you can see firsthand what that sort of mistake did to you is that, you know, if that wasn't there, you can immediately link these up, right? With this piece, I think I'd want to break this blue piece right here, start building up the green. Since there's not much value to putting it to the right side. That's just really... There's potential with this. I don't know if I agree with it entirely. Like from here, you can put a yellow block here and then put a blue block on top. Then you can clear this right side, link these reds. We'll see what you do with it. Again, it's not really doing much. The only thing is now, at least, whenever you start building up these yellows, you break this, it'll break these reds here, and then blue will be fully connected again. So that's not a bad move. It's good. It's good. Like in this scenario, I'd probably put this face up in column 2. These couple of sprinkles probably aren't going to kill Beal it, so I don't think there's any point in breaking them. Not a super bad move though. This is fine. Yep. So you actually missed a huge combo here. You see if you drop this yellow breaker into the middle, you know you have a blue breaker coming up next. So if you would have just put that blue breaker, that blue piece, off to the right, and then put the breaker in the middle, whenever this yellow drops down, it's going to bring the red down, break the red, and then bring these blue pieces down, and you're sending a 2x4, then a red sprinkle, and then the blues are going to pop down after and turn it into a 2x12 triple, which is an absolutely massive attack with sprinkles attached as well. Probably just wins you the game right there. I don't like that red breaker or the yellow breaker placement at all for the same reasons I went over originally, except this is worse. There's sort of like 0 accessibility with this yellow breaker over the right side right now. You should be storing that in column 5 so that whenever these yellows start to build up again, right here, you'll have a yellow breaker right here, which can just trigger it and clear your center. I would have dropped the yellow where you did, but put the green over in column 3, I think. So that whenever there's a sprinkle here, it's just going to break that automatically. The green here is just sort of a nuisance. It's never going to combo anything. It's never going to get cleared automatically. It's just getting in the way right here. Oh shit. Because even if you start to build these blues up and you get a blue breaker, that's probably going to get cut off, which means that you can't clear your center with this yellow right here. Right here, right here. you know, just one more yellow piece kind of, or two, and then you can't break this blue and access the yellow down here to clear your whole center. Yeah, the green's just completely getting in the way here. It's not meant to be there. That's fine. Yeah, it's also fine. Probably a small point, but I don't think I would have broken that just there. I would have either stored it in column 2, column 4, or column 5. Again, just for like survivability, you know, your center breakers are pretty valuable in order to keep you alive for longer, and breaking that isn't gonna hurt billet. It's just sort of a waste, really. And if you put it in column 4, it's definitely gonna start filling up again, so it's always gonna break. That's fine. It's fine. It's a bad move. I would have just put yellow bricker, or the yellow piece right here, and the red here, probably. Yeah, I think I would have done that. The only sort of downside to that really is that this green breaker is inaccessible to this green block if you do that, but mine wouldn't have been there in the first place, so it's okay, but I probably would have just connected this red in the middle and left that blue over there. So right here, what I would have done is maybe a bit risky slash stupid, but I would have put the green piece straight down in the middle. And just pretend that's green. And the yellow breaker on top. So, you know, if a yellow sprinkle drops down, it's going to clear that. Maybe you get a green piece next. You've got about a 50% chance of getting a green piece in any given move. You could combo that. Either way, if you know you get sprinkled, that'll clear that. It'll leave accessibility open. So, or leave it accessible, I guess. That's good. Obviously, you've got the combo. Yep, that's exactly how I would have done it. Yeah, and you're just gonna want to single this right here. Billet's very high up on the screen, so singling it's the move. He died anyway, but against anyone, I probably would have just been singling that to go for the kill. So yeah, you ended up winning this game. I've managed to talk about it for 30 minutes now somehow, but well, I know it was in 0.5 speed, but your speed, I have watched it in full speed. Your speed is pretty good. The only issue with that is if you're making a ton of fundamental mistakes, you're still going to be losing a lot of games. So what I'd sort of comment on overall is really just with your board management. You know, every time you go into a game with someone, You know, especially if they're using a falchion, just make a mental note in your head every time to be like, all right, well, he sends this color here, this color here, this color here. Um, that'll help you a lot with your placements, and then just sort of review some of the things that we like mini moves that I said, like putting certain things in certain columns, and try to get out of those bad habits. Even if it means that you're playing a bit slower for a while, in the long run, it'll work out for you because uh if you just keep playing fast, um and not like thinking an awful lot about these things, like it's gonna be a lot harder to correct the habits than if you like take your time a bit more and sort of think things through. Again, it might not bring you success in the immediate term, but whenever you work through some of these things, it's gonna help you a bunch. Like I've been there myself. Uh, where I was doing these exact same moves, and then I just sort of figured out that weren't working very well. For the reasons that I stated. Couple more points. Yeah, keep your openers like open and accessible. Just go for something that's fast with the opponent. Really, that will do you good in a lot of scenarios. Um, and you see with like your junk pieces, like if you don't know what to do with something, probably put it in like I always try to put it in like column 2, because most swords will land in column 2, and it'll end up breaking your junk and then replacing it with what your opponent hits. So yeah, I guess I'll just upload this again. This was a shit ton of rambling, but I hope it helped. If you've got any questions, just hit Howling game.